Welcome to
Ooh, that's
MMA
fun.
Fancast. My name's Luke Payson, and I'm honored to be joined by Ace Glenn Christner. Ace, welcome back to the show.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back on the show. You had a triumphant kind of get back fight, rematch last night at Brawl in the Burgh 18 against Caprice Hall, a great fighter. You guys had squared off just a few months ago in July at Brawl in the Burgh 17, ended in a draw. In a fight that without the point deduction, he would have won as a decision. You left it not in the hands of the judges. What did it feel like getting a huge, completely different outcome? Huge first round rear naked choke win. Walk us through it.
Not gonna lie. Obviously, everyone knows I was very disappointed. Um, I like the fights. I like the fight. I trained for months and I got a whopping minute and 24 seconds. So not my style. But I had to win because I need to go pro very fast. I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. And I like the idea of measuring strengths, like if I'm testing my ego against somebody, it means I respect them. And to fight the way I do is purely because I respect my opponents. And like I like the brawls, I like the fights because I want to beat them at what they're best at. And Caprice was a wrestler, so I will put that out there that it's still in the cards that I did try to beat him at what he was best at. But obviously he does Taekwondo, and me and Taekwondo aren't friends. So I I did my little Muay Thai blocks and stuff, return fire, all that jazz. Um, but I wasn't even going for a submission. Fun fact: I was going for a three-quarter Nelson that I learned my first year of wrestling. Ben Ball, the greatest wrestling coach I've ever had. Love that man to death. Little shout out. I would not be anywhere close to where I am now without him. But I was going for a three-quarter Nelson, and then he just didn't defend his neck. So after I choked him out, I told him like, "Why'd you do that?" Like that was our little conversation we had. I was like, "Why did you do that?" Like we were supposed to keep going. I just he should have defended his neck. It was a mistake on his part, but I capitalized on it. Could have been a greater, longer fight, but little mistakes and fights. So that's my take on it.
Little mistakes do end fights. And part of being entertaining, and I know you see it a different way, but part of having a long career and
Mm.
getting a pro and then having a long career at pro is to find the most efficient way to win. Sometimes that may be a brawl if there's if there's no other avenue of winning, but finding the most efficient way to win becomes exciting. When you think years ago of Ronda Rousey, people were watching her fights like they used to watch Mike Tyson's fights to see how quickly things would get finished. So there's definitely an excitement when you become known as not only that entertaining fighter you've always been, but a fighter who's looking to finish. There's no shame in that. There's no harm in that. And it really was a big change in a rematch. Your first fight could very well become fight of the year for 247. I think you've said last time on the show to you that would be a big honor to have that title. So I hope I hope you get a lot of votes, and we'll see how that all goes. But you mentioned wanting to go pro. The next level, and I know you know this because you are considering it. The next level is advanced amateur. Make your case for why you should go advanced amateur next match. Is that what you're looking for?
So I actually really funny. I had this conversation directly before this. I would love with all of my heart to go advanced amateur. I am a wrestler. I'm not gonna lie. I've been holding back my wrestling a lot, simply because I find it inefficient without ground and pound. I don't get to do jujitsu a lot. Like recently in my newer training, I have been doing jujitsu, evidently. But I was always just a wrestler, and without ground and pound for wrestling, it's kind of like I don't know very many submissions. It's
Mm.
kind of the only. So advanced amateur having that ground and pound would be amazing. Plus, um, like having somebody strike you from the ground opens up a little bit of area for me to get out.
Mm.
And not anymore, but before when I was very adamant about advanced amateur, I was like, this sucks because people keep laying on me and I can't get out. But that was just because I was garbage at jujitsu. That's just my own fault. But yeah, so I think my case is a lot more valid for my like previous thoughts before I started cross training with, Nyquil Nick, that man, backpack, crazy jujitsu guy, scary as hell to go against, but he's taught me so much. Going there on Fridays, and well, I'm giving shout outs. I got Common Death Star Worthy. Um, Not that Aldo hasn't showed me a million times how to throw a punch, but whenever he told me to twist my hips, it all came into play, and I didn't get to use it. I mean, I think me and Caprice had 4 whole strikes the whole match, and it was like one apiece. It was like one kick, one punch apiece, and but yeah, I would love to go advanced amateur, but Aldo told me I need one more AMI fight. He wants me to do one more AMI fight. So, he's the boss. I listen to coach no matter what because he's I wouldn't be nothing without him. So he does whatever he says goes, If he wants me to bear crawl barefoot down this road for a mile, I just do it because it is what it is. He's the boss. Oh, what was the second question? I forgot.
No, you really gave a lot of good answers there. I apologize. My voice is this way because I've been calling action for the last 2 nights straight, and you're part of the reason why my voice sounds this way. Um, you mentioned the fact that it is true. We saw Craig Perry, somebody you probably know if you've cross trained
Oh,
at the
Trent.
academy. Yeah.
Oh,
Um, we saw him get a win at advanced amateur. He had gotten mounted, was taking ground and pound, and was able to reverse it. So definitely there's a disadvantage to taking ground and pound, but to your point, sometimes fighters haven't learned their balance. And so while they're throwing, it's a little easier to buck them. Uh, if your coach wants you to take another novice fight before you go advanced amateur, I think, and obviously you're going to follow what he says, then go at the most efficient way to get a win, because the most efficient way to get a win will then guarantee you advanced amateur. Advanced amateur is a case by case basis that the commissioner decides based on your record and your ability, those type things, try to keep people safe. So getting a quick win like this makes your case that much stronger when you do want to go advanced amateur. And if you take another novice fight and find the most efficient way to win, which I still think is the most entertaining, but we'll agree to disagree. Because I've watched hundreds of fights, and you definitely stand out as the brawling type that can just throw down, and you took a knee right to your face and smiled. But you want to keep that for the pros. You want to keep the ability to take damage like that at the pro level, and only at the pro level when you need to, because that's how you see guys that can go long. But for people that may not know, this time you are in uniform. It's a second time coming from your EMS headquarters in the library. Talk about balancing training for fighting and saving lives as an EMT.
So obviously this whole interview was delayed because I had 2 calls just before this, straight back to back. And I was like vigorously wiping blood off my sleeve so that way it didn't show up. Good thing I have dark uniform.
You're wearing black. We'd never see it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's really easy for me because I only work two shifts. I work 24-hour shifts, and like sometimes sleep, sometimes like I have a lot of I deal with stress very well, as I said before. So I never really have that problem where I like have to sit down. The worst parts about it are Monday and Wednesday, because sometimes it's always like I'll get no calls during the day and then everyone calls at night. and I'll feel absolutely horrible in the morning. And I really do just get like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. And then I'm just ready to go at that point. If I sleep in the morning, I don't need to sleep. All right. If I'm not going to bed at night, I'm getting 3 to 4 hours, and that's all I need. But those 2 days are hard. But other than that, I still have to set a timer to go to the gym. I'm not missing the gym for sleep. That's lame. That's what pre-workout's for. So I just pump myself back up and get in. It is very ironic to be saving people and hurting people at the same time, which I think is funny. But I feel very blessed to be able to be in a time period in the world where I could do both and just it be normal. I have a lot of supporters here. I just went to the ER, and all the nurses were asking if I was okay. They were congratulating me on my fight. And this is after we dropped our patient off, so don't think I was ignoring my patient care here. But I have this one girl. Her name's Ruth. She's like my nurse mom. She cares about me dearly. She wants me to quit fighting, and I keep making the good old joke like, not gonna happen, Ruth. But we love Ruth. But yeah, like I have a good support system. I have a lot of good people around me, and a lot of people pushing me to keep going forward. So it's pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like it would be hard, but it could be. A lot of EMTs do this thing where they look for like this is like a bad culture thing, but when I got in EMS specifically, a lot of people do it because they seen somebody die before, they seen something bad happen before, and they wanted to like fix that. But then you get in EMS and you realize the reality that you can't save everyone. Nothing's always going to turn out perfect. But then you look for a bad call to like harp on. And I learned very early not to do that because everyone sees bad stuff in this job. It happens, and you're just going to see it and you're going to live with it. And like, we're like, not going to say that we're heroes or walls or anything, but like you do it so other people don't have to see it, basically. Like, I'll see the inside of somebody's body and then walk away, eat a mozzarella burger from Sheets, and be fine. But like a normal person seeing that, they're traumatized for life. Mental fortitude.
Well,
A lot of energy drinks.
that's true. I thought you were trying to cut down on your bang energy drinks.
Just for fight day. I needed to rehydrate. I had like a water
Okay.
that was fun.
Well,
Oh man, I have forever. That was my first actual water that I had before my fight. I swear I don't drink water at all. I drank that. I can remember the times that I drank water. That's how bad it is. It was like once before my fight and once the month before.
well, as an EMT, how much hydration can help your body, and what strain that the caffeine's putting on your heart. But regardless, mental fortitude, use that mental fortitude. Obviously, I'm very grateful for what you do to help people. And you're right, you've got to accept the fact you're not going to be able to save everyone. In order to be helpful, you have to take one call at a time, and that's it. So it is cool in many ways that you have the two 24-hour shifts, because I've interviewed a lot of early pros, and I say early pros is maybe 5 and under, sometimes even 10 and under fights. Of course, Ethan the Wolverine Goss is a major pro at 20 pro fights, but usually within the first 5 fights, pros are still working a full-time job. So the fact that you're in a job which is 24-hour days, that does allow you to potentially stay in the same role as you build up your amateur into pro career, because you're able to figure out. Sure, there's going to be sometimes, like you said, you don't get a lot of sleep, but you're able to balance it out. You work the same 2 days a week, so you're able to kind of plan when you're going to fight and all those things. So I could see it being a long-term good balance, unless, of course, the pro career takes off to the point where you can fully quit. But being able to keep a job while you train and fight is really great. Let's get to thank yous and shout outs. You mentioned Ruth, Nurse Ruth, so that's wonderful.
There's
Who do you want to thank? And then we'll let you go so you don't get interrupted by the alarm, because if the alarm goes off, you'll have to run out.
So I'm gonna start from the beginning. I wrestled for 10 years. I had some wonderful coaches. Ben Ball was my first coach ever. he has done so much for my character development, so much for like who I am today, like as a person. He's basically the reason I punish myself so much. We would just do outlandish workouts all the time. And he would always just be like, get up on your face, not fast enough, more push-ups. I love that man to death. And he's given me so much. That 3/4 Nelson that I had in the fight, he taught me it. It all starts at the beginning. Eric, I don't know. We call him Eric Shrubbery. He was my high school coach. He was fun. I mean, I taught him more than anything. I mean, he was a good partner to wrestle with. Then I'm gonna say Aldo for last.
Halfway.
NyQuil Nick, absolutely amazing at showing me jiu-jitsu. Basically my only jiu-jitsu training right now, and I wouldn't be anywhere close to as good as grappling or any cage work without him. And then Death Star Worthy, absolute dog, love him. He makes me laugh every time I talk to him. He is a great guy to talk to. I just can't say I love him to death. He showed me how to punch. Yeah, he showed me how to punch with real punches. He let me stay for cardio, which I was very, very happy with. I come spar, and he let me stay for cardio, and I hope I get to do that again. And then finally, Aldo Garcia, my best friend. He keeps me sane on my worst days. I call him all the time. I mean, we were just on the phone before this. I call him literally every day, tell him about my day. We train together. I do anything for him. I had some tough times. I got to stay at his house for a little bit. He is my favorite person in the whole world. I would be nothing without him. And I cannot thank him enough for everything he's done. And then my teammates, who also help me train a lot, and they do a lot with me. I give them a lot. They give me a lot. And I want nothing but the best for them. And if I make it big, I hope to drag every single one of them up with me, because there's nothing else in the world I'd want more than to see my people succeed. And that's what we do it for. I don't care about myself. I care about everyone around me. I need them to win too.
Well,
that's all my thank you.
That's a wonderful attitude to have. That's a great thank you list. I've had Nick Brown from All American Gym on here a couple times. That's a great list of people in your support network. So always an honor having you, Ace Christner, Ace Glenn. We're still introducing you as Glenn. I only call you Ace, but Ace Christner on the show. Always an honor. Please, for your fans, anybody who's enjoying Ace and this wonderful interview back and forth we have, please subscribe. We're going to have Ace on a bunch more anytime before and after a fight. I'd be honored to have you on. Thanks so much for what you do. And congrats again on an impressive, efficient, find the easiest way to win. That's your goal until you're pro. Anyhow, I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much, Ace.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Absolutely.